Okay, so these are the pictures that I took with that setup I just showed you. So you can see the pine cone. This is kind of a close-up shot. Um, you'll notice that the angle is slightly pointed down, and you'll see there's some other shots where I changed the view. I also took 2 shots per position and window change so that I got kind of lucky there because I had some shots are out of focus, and you'll see that. F-stop here is f-stop 5.0, I believe. The shutter speed is at 1/8 of a second, and the ISO is 200. So that one looks a little out of focus, as you can see. Move that cursor. And so that was a good lucky thing, right? Same window scenario. Now this is the window, and you can see the board to the side. That's the board that I used. So that's before I put the stick up, and you can see the lighting over there. So this is what it looked like, and this is what it looks like now. So you can really pretty big difference. And this is ideal because you know, I can always create these shadows with Photoshop, but I can't put them back in, the light back in. So having the light in there is really great. Just really brings out all these extra pieces in here. And that's kind of what we're after. So this is just a 2-point light. And in the video I talked about this, you know, this reflection is really a secondary light or a fill light, right? So I should have said fill light when I did that last time. Anyway, I just noticed I did that. Let's go on. So now just, you know, I open up the door. You can see that we're calling that kind of a rim light or a backlight. I don't think it's really working that way. I kind of feel like it just works more like a key light. And then the paper is acting as the reflector, as the fill light. So remember, fill lights fill shadows, and then our key lights are our strongest lights, and they should be kind of opposite of one another. I'm going to play around with the place of the fill light, but let's go on. I think what you'll see, this is now, I moved the paper out of the way. So, but now you can see a little bit of light back here, and that lets me know that that window back here got opened. And so that looks pretty good. I think the door also got shut on that one. I think that one's kind of nice. So you get this. I think this one works better as the you know, we call it a rim light or a backlight, but they're both kind of acting like fills or keys. They're just so bright and they're so close. That's both windows look like closed and just some reflection. New position. Same scenario. So I'm just going to cycle through. So, you know, this is a reflection, no reflection, no reflection, reflection. I think this is with the stick, out of focus. That's with the back window open. So again, I do think that does act like a rim light a little bit. You're getting those little highlights on the edges, and that's what you're hoping for. So you notice that there's no highlights on those edges. This is a little bit different than the than a fill light. You're trying to get reflections on the edges with a rim light or a backlight, right? And so that kind of keeps all those shadows still, but kind of creates those highlights. And that's kind of what I was hoping for. So I think that's pretty successful. That's what the fill looks like, out of focus. It's my cat's tail. This looks like everything's on, all the lights everywhere. Really bright, maybe even overexposed, you might say. Out of focus. Okay, new position. So I think this was after I was looking at it, I was like realizing I didn't really like the position. I wanted to get a little bit more almost as if I'm looking straight at it. So you can even see the front of the table is actually in the shot, and it's way out of focus. And I really wanted to try to get the pine cone by itself, like as if it were floating in the air. So that's kind of my goal, is to get this thing floating in the air, and you'll see why, because I want to composite this image. I noticed this little piece of paper afterwards, so again, that's one of those things that are so easy to miss, those little things. It's so subtle, but it's right there. That's where I was writing the notes. And so you'll see I kind of repeated that. I mentioned that I had a problem there, and I didn't mention what I did, but I actually shot all these twice, so I'll just go through real quick. So this is all the lights with reflection, all the lights. So that's the white paper. I think in this case I was holding them all. And then I kind of went reverse. So this is the back window is open. Again, you get those kind of highlights. And again, I kind of think those are pretty successful. So you can play with that, right? Like I kind of like that one a lot with those highlights. Of course, I can probably also create that with Photoshop, but slightly out of focus, really out of focus. So I'm having some focus issues here. Better focus. This looks like it's reflected light only and window. Now I actually took the paper away. I think that was where I noticed all the papers there. So then I reshot everything again. So this was with, I believe I have the paper in my hand. So this is with the paper. Yeah, it's just the side window and the paper. I'm hand holding it right now. This is helpful because I'm looking at the order, my shot order, and I can kind of tell what I did. This is just the window with no reference, no reflection, no paper. So the back window is open now. And I think also it looks like I'm holding the reflector as well. No reflector, just the window. It's the back door open and the window open. Actually with the reflector as well, so you can see the difference right there. So that's with the reflector, that's without the reflector, so that's just the window and the doors. And I think I just repeated right there. So, those are the shots. I just want you to see them. I mean, they can be a little bit subtle, but, we're mostly kind of paying attention to this side and how those kind of change. And that's my shot. Those are my shots. So I'm going to pick out one or two of these that I'm really particularly excited about, and I'll meet you over in Photoshop in just a moment.